Thank you. No, I was literally just talking, but
Yo,
like
it's
I
brilliant.
found the post though. So the post says his name is by Corey Mascara. It says, I don't believe our world needs more positivity. I believe our world needs minds that are equipped to be with complexity of life, minds that can hold nuance and polarity, minds that can stay grounded, centered, and open to the full range of what it means to be human.
Mm, I like
Right?
that. I like that a
Right?
lot.
The first time I seen that, I felt so like, how can I explain it? Open. I think that's the best way to say it. I felt open. I felt okay to be honest. I felt like, okay, maybe there's ways that you think or ways that you feel that may be different, but like, who cares? You need to voice them because like everyone's different.
Mm,
Everyone has like their own way of thinking. So like, express yours too, you know, and be okay with that.
yeah, I like where you're coming from that. I definitely think that we also need to learn how to comment on Facebook better. Not everyone, but some people do. Like there's this like weird militant attitude where like you're not allowed to express a sentiment unless like it's like what you were saying before, adhering to like a particular code of views, and if you're outside of that like viewpoint on a particular topic at all, like these people get, I don't want to say it like a particular group of people, but it feels like this ghost of these people, these like persons, when you see somebody typing in your comments that's gonna just fucking misconstrue what you said on purpose, just to like start some shit. So I decided I'm just gonna say I'm not talking to you people. And I don't mean like again like anyone in particular, but I'm not talking to you. I'm just done with you in particular, and then I'll talk to everyone else if they're like if you come at me in a weird way, because like I don't know, like there's people who really I feel like want to seek knowledge, but then how they get their knowledge is not necessarily the same way I get my knowledge. Like you must read a lot if you're a lawyer person, right?
You know what? I just started being a lawyer person.
Mm.
So like I don't like before starting school, I used to just read here and there. I read a lot of books, I mean, but not as much as I read as a lawyer person per se.
But you still
Now
read.
at school, I don't read as much as I read now. Now I'm always reading. But prior to that, no, I read a lot, but just not as much as now. However,
You
I
can
will
hear it in
say
how you
that
talk.
people misconstrue things a lot. I think that the only reason for that is because we all have like our own perception of viewing things. And I feel like a lot of the things that like we hold on to per se is up to us. Like what
Mm.
people say is up to other people. Like some people may say, "Hey, I don't like that." That's okay. You're entitled to that. Hey, I don't agree with that. That's okay. You're entitled to that. Personally, me, I'm such a curious person. So a lot of the times, like my first question is why, like, or how,
That's a good
why do
question.
you, just because I want to know, I want to understand because I'm also very aware that like the world's a lot bigger than my head. The world's a lot bigger than what I believe in. So like a lot of the times I just want to know what those other point of views are so that if I do have something to say that I can like just make sure you see it too so that we can all just coexist even if you don't agree, or best we can love each other and just like hype each other up and like grow and shit.
I love the energy. No, but it's like the world is kind of big, and not everyone travels or sees other things outside of the world. And I feel like that like idea that travel change. I don't know. Have you traveled a lot?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm gonna start asking people that question more. I haven't tracked that at all. Where have you traveled to?
So my favorite place that I've traveled to is Dubai. It was awesome. It was different. The culture was different. Um people were different, but it was like most of all, it was just fun. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
it was weird because like I didn't go there with like this in like expecting it. It's crazy. I didn't go there to expecting it to be that different. You know, and I guess that's the part where like I'm a bit naive. But you know what? My best friend the other day was telling me about something. Like she's going to school, she's like in school for fashion and whatnot, you know, and she's like, you know, Z, you know something I learned? I was like, what's up? She's like, yo, culture differences. She's like, people need to understand that like in culture, like culture changes things in a sense where like what you may do, you may think is amazing, but could be 100% an insult or degrading to someone else because of culture.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And so, with that being said, I feel like it's just like it's also so hard sometimes to like depict certain things and like how to move. But I also believe that as long as you're moving with good intention and your heart is on your sleeve, that everything will go accordingly. You know what I'm saying? But it's very important to grasp that people will think differently than you. And so there's no right or wrong way to go about certain things. You know, it's just you got to be open and willing to understand that, like, hey, okay, let it be, you know? And it's just, I know it's a hard thing to grasp, but it's
No,
just
I
like
mean,
something.
I'm like right there with you, right? Like everything you have said in this interview, I would articulate it in a way that you would probably respond with, it's a bit different. Fair enough. We would never use the same language. But I do think that I actually agree with it. Like, I'm just living that shit. For me, it's like, yeah, I hear you. Yo, because journeys are mad weird and different. And like so many factors are in play that nobody really thinks about. So you really break it down on that culture thing. I spent the last 4 months learning about how different Montreal and New York City are in 1993. I've learned so,
Mm,
and you you think, right? These things, it's the same distance between Montreal and Toronto basically as Montreal and New York City. Completely different universes, but all like I was alive, you know, and I was here. But even in NDG, I didn't grow up on one side of NDG. I grew up on a very different side of NDG. Not that I had like cash or whatever. I just didn't know about that other side of NDG until I became an adult. And so, like, just living in Montreal, there's so many versions of the same neighborhood that you can grow up in, and people have completely different realities, but we're not even aware of each other's realities. Like, yo, I didn't grow up rich, but I certainly didn't grow up with like some of the other environments, right? It was relatively safe in my world. And then I found out how grimy it was. At the same time, I was like being told, don't go over there, don't go to Walkley. And now I know what that means
oh
though.
my God.
But when I was a kid, it was like, you can't go there by yourself. And that was the end of it. And I never thought
Mm-hmm,
about that shit as a kid. Right? And
mm-hmm.
then, but that means that there's this same fucking, I used to go to that McDonald's. I'm pretty sure I had a McDonald's party up in that McDonald's at that set because it was the first McDonald's I think that had the playpen. So my parents made sure, you know, but the same, like literally right there, no idea that a different universe existed. Literally at the same spot. So when you're saying this to me, and then I went to Wager, and Wager is a juxtaposition of culture if there ever was one. So everything you're saying with me resonates so big because my whole life has been this multicultural blend of like lots of juxtapositions here's and there's that have gone through. And I traveled a bit. That's why the travel thing is an interesting one. I got to go to Pakistan. I understand exactly what you mean when you say Dubai is a bit different.